Hey guys, we are in our science notebooks. I need you guys to turn to the table of contents and on page 12, matter in ecosystems. So I'll give you a bit of time to copy that down. And so today, on page 12, we are going to consider how does matter move in ecosystems. So again, on page 12, so this is page 12, we're writing matter in ecosystems. And today's date, 9/20/23. So copy that again. And this has to do with your animal research or your animal project that you're doing, because one of the things you need to do for that project is explain how does your animal fit into the matter cycles of its ecosystem. And so for us to understand that, we need to know what is matter and how does matter move in ecosystems. So matter maybe you remember learning about matter in elementary school. Matter is anything that has mass and takes up space. Okay, so I'll let you copy that down. Okay. Another way to think of it is the stuff that makes up everything. Okay, so matter is the stuff that makes up everything. So anything we can think about in the universe, if we ask what is it made up of, the broad term is matter. Everything is made up of matter. But we can say that there are certain things that make up matter, and one unit that makes up matter is very small, is an atom. So an atom is the smallest unit of an element. It's the smallest unit of an element. And I'm looking in my drawer for my periodic table. It might be in this drawer. All right, I'm not seeing it real easily here. But maybe you've seen the periodic table of elements. It's the shape that has all of the different letters and symbols for different elements of the universe. My Be Kind, that's on my wall by my door. If you look over there, you see the beryllium, the potassium, the iodine. Those are all elements, right? And so each element is made up of a special atom that's different than other kinds of atoms. The atoms that you need to know, we're going to write C is the symbol for carbon. Okay, so carbon is an atom, and we use a black sphere to represent a carbon atom. Okay? Another important one that this class needs to know is H. That is hydrogen. Hydrogen. And we use a white ball to represent that. Another important one is O, which is oxygen. And that would be a red ball. One that I don't have with me, I can go grab. It's N, and that is nitrogen. So in our molecular kit, the light blue one, that represents a nitrogen atom. Okay, so all of these represent one atom. It's one piece of a type of matter. Now, atoms can stick together and make molecules. All right, and so a molecule are two or more atoms stuck together. And there's a few molecules that I do need you guys to know. We'll start with one that probably everyone does know, H2O. It is made up of 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen. So this is an H2O molecule. The common name is water. Another important molecule that you need to know is CO2. So that C is carbon and 2 oxygens, and it would look like this, and that is a carbon dioxide. Molecule. I'll give you a second to copy that down. Another molecule we need to know is O2. That's made up of 2 oxygens. So that is oxygen gas. The final molecule, C6H12O6. This is a molecule that is made up of carbons and hydrogens and oxygens bonded together, and it looks like this. Here's a model of it. And if you counted, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 oxygens, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hydrogens. So you would write the chemical formula C6H12O6, and that is a molecule known as glucose. Glucose is a sugar. So these 4 molecules are the 4 molecules that I want you to know, and I'm not going to try and trick or confuse you and ask you different number combinations. Just know that the one with the carbons, hydrogen, and oxygens, that's the glucose. It's a sugar molecule. This is going to be really important when we come and talk about photosynthesis next week. But for now, I want you guys to see that these are atoms. These are molecules. All of this is matter that you would find in an ecosystem. So when we talk about how does matter move, matter cycles in ecosystems. Matter cycles in ecosystems. Maybe you've heard of the water cycle. So how water is up in the sky in clouds, and it rains and the water comes down, and then it goes into the ground, or it goes into lakes or rivers, and then it evaporates and it goes back up into the sky. All matter cycles in a similar way. It goes between organisms and the environment, and it cycles. It stays on Earth, and it cycles and it goes to different places. Another matter cycle we'll talk about is the carbon cycle. And so you guys have this worksheet here, and this is an example of a matter cycle. It's a specific matter cycle. It's the carbon cycle. So if you remember from right here, We said carbon is an atom. So carbon is an atom. It's not living, so it's a physical feature of an ecosystem. Another thing that we need to know is that carbon can be found in other molecules, right? So we can find carbon in CO2, carbon dioxide. We can find it in sugar, C6H12O6. We can find it in other molecules, but I just want you to see that carbon atoms can be in different kinds of molecules. And so here we have a diagram, and we have carbon dioxide in the air. So there's CO2 in the air. Number 1 here shows that carbon going into a plant. And that's the process known as photosynthesis. We can just write photo, P-H-O-T-O. So the plant takes carbon dioxide from the air, and it actually releases some carbon dioxide as well in a process called respiration. So we'll write respire. That just means to breathe. R-E-S-P-I-R-E. And then that plant gets eaten by consumers. So here we have feeding. Feeding. So we have the rabbit eating the plant. Well, that plant has carbon in it, and when the rabbit eats it, the carbon goes into the rabbit. The rabbit also breathes, so it also respires, and it releases carbon dioxide back into the air. But sometimes animals die, and so death and waste, that carbon is going to be in the poop. The carbon is still in this dead animal. Many of the molecules that make up living things have carbon in them. So what happens to dead things and waste if something else doesn't eat them? Well, something always will eat it, the bacteria, the fungus, and that is called decomposition. So it decompose. D-E-C-O-M-P-O-S-E-S. Right? So if that rabbit decomposes, over millions of years, it's going to turn into fossil fuels like oil and coal. When people burn those things, those fossil fuels, that's known as combustion. And that releases CO2 into the air again. And we're going to exit this out because I don't know why that's there. So if you're missing anything from here, go ahead and fill that out. And then I want you to try to use this diagram to answer these questions at the bottom. Okay, you guys can help each other out. You can talk to each other. You can work on this together. It's not going to be for a grade. We're going to go over it at the start of class on Friday. So there's that again if you need that. I also will post this on Canvas, so if you want to just copy it on your paper, you can. I'll also scan this and put this on Canvas Calendar so that if you need to copy this, if you miss anything from this, you can copy that as well. And once you're done with this, you've tried to do this and your notes are all done, Then you guys can work on studying your new Quizlet vocabulary set, which I'll post on Canvas as well.